Good evening and welcome back to Nosetools, where
Hello. What is Nosetools? Is that your fortress? Or
yes is the name of the fortress.
Did the game call that?
Yes, I think I might have pressed generate me a better name than that once in order to get there. But so we think we are now in a position where we can receive visitors. Well, we can do. Oh, I've just remembered something I wanted to change. I should just check. Yes, I think we're streaming that now. Because I had a setting that was left over from my old laptop, which gave me a hard limit on the number of dwarves in my fortress, which will obviously be unfortunate because I think it was like 10. Yes, and I was going to mine. Thank you, Claire. So I'm going to quickly save my game again. Oops, no, that's key bindings. That's really not helpful. Save. And adjust the configuration briefly. Because at the moment, I think we won't actually get any more immigrants because we've got too many people in the fortress. Because I was trying to set things up for allowing my old laptop, which was not very fast, to actually run a fort for more than a few years without it getting all sluggish. But my new laptop is quite a lot faster. So once this is saved, I will wander off and adjust a few settings. So where's the set this to say please wait again? Right, that should be reconfigured now. Let's have that reloading again. Right, so that should avoid us not getting any more people now. So yes, we had. So I think we have two things. One is we hope that some merchants will arrive, and probably, well, ravens will not be a problem. All being well, they won't get eaten by the whatever undead are kicking around. And meanwhile, we should go down. So this is the lowest level the fortress currently has. I think I should not use my current main staircase as the staircase into the mines because if we share the same staircase, then I can't easily isolate the mine from everything else. So let's have a new place where the mining happens, which will be here. Let's go 40 levels down and see what we find. That will actually not take very long to dig at all, but depending on what we find. And indeed, who starts digging first? Right. So
game. You've got a very small paintbrush or something. No, okay. The only paintbrushes I have are larger than very small and older than very old. You think you put some small ones somewhere possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are my paint boxes? Upstairs.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
On my thing.
So,
And upstairs, Gareth already found it. We spent most of the last few weeks rearranging the upstairs to the point where he's seen everything there.
and we probably want to slaughter some more pigs soon because we've got an awful lot of piglets.
Well,
But
the second time. You've been rearranging all of the upstairs, so you must have encountered all of it by now.
Not moved around as well as two bookcases. The far bookcases have stayed there for at least a year or so.
I should take advantage of the fact that we now have doors in perpetual production. Install the door there. Is my craft force workshop doing anything useful? They're making mugs because people were whinging about not having mugs. Yes, I remember. But yes, dwarves in general seem fairly happy. Okay, he seems a little finds the pursuit of skill mastery off-putting, but dreams of creating a masterwork. Well, actually, I suppose I can quite understand that, yes. I just want to make a really good thing. I don't want to have to put in all the effort to get good at it. That's just tedious.
I think that's a thing many people can sympathise with.
Yes.
I was confused why he is not distracted after being unable to get things.
Yeah, God knows. Sometimes Dwarf Fortress's constructions are, yes. Dwarf Fortress's grammatical constructions are as bad as its players' physical constructions. Right, okay. I wasn't expecting us to find that we're like, that our fortress extends to like 4 layers above the caverns. I think I should pause now and see what there is down there. No. It's okay, you're just calmly carrying on building the staircase past the cavern. So we appear. So this layer. Oh, what's that? Yeah, we basically seem here to have. Caverns are great because they give you a clear view of what the geology is over a few layers. But in this case, it's limestone and diorite and precious little of any use. So there are some things moving down here. There are troglodytes down here. How scary are troglodytes? Let's look them up. Yes.
Carts and bucks. That's true.
Capable of causing serious injury to unarmed civilians. So, yeah, probably don't want them getting into the fortress. Has someone installed a door at the top now? Good. So that would suggest we should fairly rapidly wall off the this area before the troglodytes find us. If we can, let's try that. Because I haven't really got any military at the moment. I might want to sort that out, but I'd quite like some metal and some weapons for that. Still. At least that should, putting a wall across there. should.
And if so, amazing. Jacob, are you listening? And if so, is that thing of a hand with thumb and little finger raised? And
Surely it's metal.
yeah, but it's got three fingers. Oh, it's got 3 fingers and 2 knuckles. Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, you've got a blivet for a hand. Okay, it's a rock metal blivet hand.
Rock paper blivet.
Blivet.
See, all this stuff is happening in IRC, and I have to pause to.
Make sense of it.
Yes.
Well, try to make sense of it. I'm not convinced this is actually possible.
I don't think we have a hard limit on pigs. Indeed, cats, which are even harder to deal with, are famous for causing utter doom in your fortress because you get too many of them. But yes, I think most animals are simulated in rather less detail than dwarves.
I have pictured a very strange game of paper, scissors, climb bottle, in which scissors cut the climb bottle and make a maybe a strip, but also the paper, of course, can't wrap a climb bottle very easily, so that's not going to work.
But the maybe a strip defeats the scissors because it can't cut it in two.
I know, it just cuts it off. Yes, so scissors beats climb bottle therefore beats scissors. Paper can't beat. Okay, so paper loses to everything, and scissors and climb bottle tie. This is a good game.
My statement would be what the hell you want.
Right, we've now walled off that staircase minimally from the caverns, though possibly I should now extend those walls up to the ceiling just to be on the safe side.
A larger but thinner than you could possibly imagine.
I just thought of a scissors, paper, stone analog where you have to name Beano characters, and the point of this is you play the Nash equilibrium.
Well, you hear for the menaces with white side.
Phyllite. Ooh, Gabbro. Cobaltite. Cobaltite is not useful. You can't make blue glass out of it.
You can make cobalt out of it.
No, you can't make cobalt out of it either. Nor can you refine cobalt out of it. And granite. Microcline. Well, microcline's a good colour at least. More microcline. More microcline. Yes, but does it tell me which layer I should be looking in for useful metal ores?
No, it's a poem, it's not that useful. Also, I probably can't actually remember the whole bit, and also, you're not building your cavern in Moria. And
I found some Morion.
About to wake up a Balrog if you delve too greedily and too deep.
No, there are much worse things than Balrogs down here.
There's lava.
Among other things, yes.
Was that Demon Souls?
Gabbro.
Was that your fortress, the bones of the ones that you or?
That's Demon
It
Souls.
was Demon Souls, okay, I couldn't remember. Yes, a while.
Right, so, well, we have some layers. We've at least got a wider variety of gems available to us. And some cobaltite if we ever want to build blue things. And indeed, once we feel comfortable taking on those troglodytes, sorry, just slightly worried. There's remains are probably not a problem. Once we feel comfortable taking on the troglodytes, we can get wood from the underground treoids. Well, they're really fungus, but they can be used as wood.
Woody fungus.
Yes. So there's presumably someone coming down here to. install the next set of walls, or does it actually turn out that I can't install that wall because I have to first put in a floor to be able to stand on to put the wall in place, because I can't actually do it from that thing. Maybe that's what's going on. Let's install a floor there then and see if that helps. So there is apparently a human pikeman visiting. By the name of Ulmo Lemhukando. Her crinkly straight hair is extremely long, her slightly wide set, as your eyes are very round. She has a low voice. Her hair is dark taupe, her skin is burnt umber, her nose is somewhat narrow. That's nice. She presumably also... She might want... Oh, I wonder if she was going to want access to the caverns. Well, we should probably let her in if she wants to come in. Where is she?
You should build a radio telescope in the caverns, because that would be the cavern dish.
Thank you. So she's currently on the edge of the map. Let's just try... Since there are currently no scary people.
Also because obviously your fortress can only be improved by having radio telescopes.
Yes. Well, there are lots of troglodytes and lots of ravens and some undead camel hair. There isn't anything else dangerous around. So now is she going to come and say hello to the fortress? Sorry, am I mumbling too much? Right. I don't have to compete with
the most enthusiastic.
I don't have to compete with a bunch of dying Zerg. Right. Yes, I wanted to see whether she was actually going to move into the fortress or just stand on the edge of the map looking gormless. Yes. Come along. I want to be able to lock the door behind you, but that kind of requires you to come in. Yes, U, capital U in Dwarf Fortress generally represents a human. U umlaut is a military human, and plain capital U is a civilian human.
Do military humans wear strange two-part hats?
I don't think so. Let's see what she's got in her inventory.
What has it got in its inventory, precious?
She has an iron pike,
Big metal fish,
copper chain leggings and a copper mail shirt, and a sheep wool turban and an iron helm. I'm not quite sure in which order she's wearing her sheep wool turban and her iron helm. Yes, hang on, let's widen that panel a bit. So the head indicates that this is actually on her head.
Not what it's for,
Yes, wear a soft glove and then a metal gauntlet over the top of it.
Chain leggings and little trousers and white also something.
Yes.
Ooh, there's a late breaking boot.
Ooh, left foot. Well, I could just get the foot out, but it would just be a foot. I'm assuming Jacob can hear me and therefore I know what type anything across. Hello, Jacob.
So, what do we know about this pike? It is an iron pike. That's all we know about the pike. Yes, but are you going to try to get into the fortress? Oh, maybe you are now.
Squawk.
Tarantara. The dry season has come.
That's quick.
Nonsense, I can still see some blue in the bottom left.
Ah, I see. Ooh. Basically, audience, I bought a combined robot thing earlier this week. It's obviously far too soon to get it out to play now, but if I were to get one of them out tomorrow, since 5 of them arrived, I wonder which it should be soon. I probably won't, but just one. Stay. That's right.
just lock the door again in the usual fashion, so that now I don't have to pay close attention to whether anything outside is likely to come in and do us some harm. And then we'll see if our visiting pike person, pike human, has any interesting things to do. Let us. So what happens? I think I can say, look, just dig out all these gems. So let's try that. If I go auto mine ore and gems. Then I think that what that means is kind of the inverse of how it handles wet ground, in that it will attempt, in that having dug something out, it will, if that exposes more of the same material, it will dig the extra material out as well. Like that layer's now built. Excellent. What's that? Oh, that's my cursor, yes. So let's no. Right, so that's now requested the last batch of walls necessary to separate us off from the caverns reasonably securely, and then maybe I build a new access route into the caverns that we can use more safely.
I like how you have the N word here being nevermore. In supervision posts I refer to the C word, which is cat town.
So,
I mean, fair's fair, but Raven doesn't say any other end word either, so.
oh, I've just done some very weird things, and I bet that looked extremely strange on the stream.
That
That was actually me trying to clean the cruft off my monitor. So I now have a petition available, which I think will be from our friendly visitor. Ulko Sturland wishes to reside in Nosetools for the purposes of eradicating monsters. Well, we're going to have to give you a way to get into the caverns, I suppose, if you're going to be like that. But yeah, go on. You may stay. You just... So now she appears as a monster slayer. I now can now reside in Nosetools. That's very satisfying. She has 5 children and has come here to get away from them. No. Despite being a human, she still has a favourite kind of rock. It appears. I think Railgar's a kind of rock, isn't it? Maybe it's a gem. So presumably I can find out what she's good at. So none of her family are around here. Competent pikeman. Not much good with armour or shield. Might want to wander. Maybe she'll want to wander off into the caverns.
It's the very final bounce when it hurls itself towards the ground. It's wonderful. I just got this up again because Claire mentioned that to use the thing. It's true. Just the very final bounce of that.
So I'm carefully constructing, or rather designating, something that will be an access route into the caverns that we can close off with a hatch cover above it so that things can't climb up through the hatches. Meanwhile, the dwarves are happily mining gems down here.
I saw this one here.
So, like, I hope we have a use for precious fire opals.
Let's take a wolverine and compress it until it becomes a squirrel. It's not
My kind of hope is that this mining, which is at least more or less useful, might turn me up some useful metal ores, but maybe it won't. Oh, we have a human maceman turning up as well. I think the fact that we've broken into the caverns has caused everyone to go, oh, we can go and hunt things in their caverns. Okay, I'll unlock the front door for you as well if there's nothing dangerous around. That looks fine. There's only 2 troglodytes left. But all the rest have sensibly noticed that the dwarves have turned up in their caverns and decided that they're going to clear off before any visiting humans cause trouble. So now, if I build a floor hatch there with our decorated hatch cover, then we can lock that when we want to keep things in the caverns from getting out of the caverns, but still allow people access to the caverns if they want to come in. If they want to go down there and hunt things. So we found some gems, but nothing more interesting yet. Just have a quick look in the wiki on the subject of layers. So metamorphic layers tend to have copper and silver ores. Good gems turn out in granite and gabbro. We might find some useful iron ores, but I suspect there aren't any iron ores in the limestone layers. I don't think we've got any igneous extrusive layers, right. So, I mean, we could explore further in the limestone layer, but like the caverns have shown us a lot of the limestone layers, and there's nothing of any use there as far as metals are concerned. It's kind of tempting to dig around in the... We've got any... So we've got granite layers there which are igneous, gabbro which is igneous, diorite I suspect is igneous, phyllite. Unremarkable metamorphic stone. So maybe we should have an explore around the phyllite layers.
It's apparently NetHack, and in NetHack, when you pick up an item, you always assign some letters in to say which object you're doing something with next.
So let's just dig some exploratory tunnels in the phyllite. See what we turn up.
I think it's that stuff that Liz got when she was over and it rehydrated you or something.
Oh, well,
I know.
Right, so now I'm going to reopen the caverns in a slightly more controlled fashion in case any of our visiting people want to get in there.
Does it matter if they get killed? I mean, does this reflect badly on them?
Don't think so. Let's have a look. Monster Slayers come to seek wild creatures to kill. Monster Slayers start arriving after a cavern is revealed. They'll petition for long-term residency. If granted, they will go outdoors or deep below to slay beasts. If not, they will simply leave. So yes, I think they will. I don't think it's a problem if they get killed any more than it is if anyone else gets killed. So yes, the next human fighter is turning up slowly. I'm probably trying to find the expedition leader. Probably buggered off. Right. Yeah, I suppose if you want to eradicate monsters as well, that's fine by me. And there's only a couple of troglodytes down there, but if nothing else, the monster hunters will explore some more of the caverns for us. Probably. So where's our other one? One who had arrived ready is down there in the caverns. Rushing around enthusiastically. And then standing still, waiting for something to happen. There's a troglodyte over there. How do you feel about troglodytes?
Yeah.
Oh, our other one is closer to the troglodytes. Seems to be staying away from them, though may not feel that troglodytes qualify as monsters, of course. Right, so we seem to have run out of spare bones to decorate things with, which is obviously unfortunate.
Want to slay more monsters?
Well, yes, or slaughter something else. They were probably in a embarrassing richness of food at the moment. We haven't actually got insane amounts of meat. We have a vast oversupply of plump helmets, of course. Let's just ask our bookkeeper to be even more precise, merely so that we can work out how much food we've got. See, what we need is for a trade caravan to turn up so we can go, here, have 5 tons of plump helmets. Maybe I need to dig some more bedrooms out as well. Oh, I could do a gratuitous thing, couldn't I? So one helpful thing that Dwarf Fortress has is keyboard macros, much like Emacs. So if I can remember how that works, I press Control R and then I'm recording my actions. So having designated an area, then I think I can press Control P and play back that designation and hence draw out multiple copies of the same room. Right, there we go, that will provide me with a few more bedrooms for when we need them. So presumably the Craftsdwarf's workshop is now full of things decorated with bones. Oh no, we've mostly got crafts made of them, so we have camel bone rings and earrings and a camel bone sceptre and a camel skull totem and a phenomenal quantity of limestone mugs and diorite mugs. And did I really ask for that many mugs? Oh well.
We can trade some.
Yes, and like no one's going to be fed up that they haven't got a mug anymore. So what's that lying around there then? Oh, we've still got 14 stray one-hump camel bones. Something was just confused. Right. So let's see what we're finding. Are we finding anything interesting down here? Really not much. Haven't found any actual metal ores. How are you doing then, my dear pikeman? I think you're not winning. 8 pages of pikemen fighting troglodytes. I mean, the pikeman is well armoured, which, given that the troglodytes appear to only be able to punch and bite, is going to grab the troglodytes grabbed her hair though, has bruised her lung and has scratched her face, and like this is not looking good for the poor troglodyte. Not troglodyte, for the poor pikeman. Like, you've got a sodding pike, haven't you? How did you let them get that close? Oh, unfortunately, yes, the troglodyte punches the human pikeman in the left hand with her right hand. The force twists the left wrist, tearing apart the muscle and tearing apart the muscle. What? The human pikeman loses hold of the iron pike. So I think with a particularly good punch, the troglodyte has has injured the pikeman's hand to the point where she can no longer hold her pike, and that leaves her kind of defenceless. Yes, you're better at using your armour. Well done. Unfortunately, there's not much else you can do. And you're basically now in a... Right, you've passed out from exhaustion, which is why the troglodytes have stolen your turban. Yeah, this is not going to go well for you unless that nice maceman turns up. So yes, the troglodyte... There are... Right, so... Yeah, the troglodytes are just nicking all your clothes now. Oops. Oh, another petition. Someone else has turned up to try to eradicate monsters. Well, you can have a go if you want.
At your own risk.
Yes.
I feel you ought to make that clear in the contract.
Like, we have quite a lot of troglodytes, and they are quite violent, and if you turn up inadequately equipped, you may just die. Yes, she is bleeding and missing several teeth and badly bruised. I think the troglodytes may have fairly effective claws. And currently unconscious, exhausted and nauseous as a result of various bits of violence. And as we can see, her teeth are scattering the floor around here. Aha! We have an outpost liaison and a trade caravan. So we have here a wagon, which is the only larger than one square creature in the game, and it's not really a creature, with a merchant on it and drawn by a couple of horses, and with its escort. And they're probably not going to have any trouble getting in because there's nothing very scary out there. There's a bunch of ravens, but that's it. And ravens are not a problem as long as they're not undead. 2 wagons.
The wagons are in impressive right-angle turns.
Well, yes, roguelikes. How would you do a wagon in a roguelike? They're square, so it's nice and simple. Yes, and further back we can see merchants leading camels carrying stuff. And yes, some guards coming along with the caravans. Still only the pikeman getting into trouble. He's probably going to get beaten to death eventually. But, it's your own stupid fault. Oh, the pikeman has dropped dead. What a pity.
Hurt its leg. Hurt its leg. What a pity. Camel is approaching. I remember that part of it. But not much more about it.
It's probably going to be quite awkward to get that pikeman's body out, isn't it?
Do troglodytes not eat pikemen?
I don't know, but no, I need to make a slab first, don't I? So just to be on the safe side, let's add a job to make. Let's make a memorial slab to that unfortunate visitor. So here's a mercenary. Are you?
So should we get a quick response show of hands for the frosting bottles of wine? I've just noticed first and the frost several.
Sarah and David are probably having maybe Idris and
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
Okay, the mercenary is in fact the outpost liaison who whose job is to come and talk to the people in charge here and find out what's going on. I am your liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. Much to share, which has just added some information to this, and it's all far too complicated for me. I don't know what the news and rumours. Yes, thank you. Random bits of politics happening in the far distance. Oh, we can also see people moving around. Presumably
And one,
large armies and such like.
and one ex-mutant having a little boogie there on the right.
I think that's us. Anyway, so what do we want? Damn it, I should have checked what they'd already brought with them. Oh well.
Giant bat leather.
Yes.
Ooh.
So what do we want? And we have access to wood now, but wood is quite cheap to get from these guys. So let's just ask for willow's nice. Oh, can they get us lighter things than willow? We don't seem to have featherwood available, so let's just say we would like you to bring us some willow, please. And just in case they haven't brought any cats, we would like some cats. Actually add priority for like, oops. Yeah.
Right, sweet my.
A bit of priority for every kind of wood. Then they'll probably turn up with like 15 tons of wood, which might be unhelpful. It seems to me that I'll probably do better. Since I don't care what kind of wood, I should add a little bit of priority to every kind of wood. Right. I think I'm not going to worry. Problem is, well, no, I suppose if I've got wood, I can make charcoal, and then we can use that for beating up into. Yeah, I have a feeling they cold forge things mostly. Well, let's ask for some iron and copper and bronze and steel, and then see what they turn up with. Oh, right, yes, I can look here, can't I, and see whether we have any cats already. Not that it matters very much, because, like... So where... Oh, they're not going to be listed here, are they? Because they're not... Now, if I look under cages, they would have been brought in cages. Right, they haven't brought any cats with them. They have brought a reindeer bull, a yak cow, a ram, a turkey hen, and a buck rabbit. Okay. So let us actually crank up the priority of cats as far as it'll go, because that should get us some. But like, we don't really. Maybe we want some. I think these weapons are so expensive. What have they brought by way of weapons? They've got a lot of weapons anyway. We don't need to encourage them to bring more. Right. Okay, that's done. So yes, we will end up paying a bit over the odds for wood, and quite a lot over the odds for cats. But like, that's fine, I'm sure. What do they want us to produce? Oh, this makes a lot of difference, frankly, because like whether we make figurines is a pretty much arbitrary thing depending on what the crafts dwarfs happen to feel like making. And I'm not in any imminent danger of manufacturing quantities of crossbows, I don't think. You can make them out of bone, though, can't you? So maybe we have some. Anyway, thank you. Yes. Okay, we'll see you again next year. That troglodyte has had so much fun. The troglodyte scrambles out of the troglodyte's flight path. Right, okay, they gouged out her eye and kept going, it looks like. How messy. Now, of course, that means we have a dead body down in the caverns. Well, I think at the moment we have this bunch of suicidal fighters turning up to try to get into the caverns and fight things for us. And I'm kind of inclined thus not to worry too much about the fact that we're filling the caverns with dead bodies. Let them have their fun. With a capital fun. Maybe what I should do actually is, while it's not catastrophically dangerous, build a direct connection between the surface and the caverns so that monster hunters don't actually have to bother us in the fortress. So can I find somewhere where I can conveniently dig a vertical shaft all the way up to the surface? Yes, there will be fine. I mean, it will leak a little, I suppose, where it passes through things. So where it passes through the aquifer layer, but that's fine. Right, now I have to remember how trading works. So, yes, what we have to do is to instruct the dwarves what stuff we want them to shift up to the trade area, and then we see what we can get for it. So like if we have them haul a couple of pots of what are presumably plump helmets, all of our crafts, maybe we should sell some of those mugs. We have got like twice as many mugs, 3 times as many mugs as we've got dwarves. Let's send some of the extravagantly decorated ones actually, because we can decorate more. And see how that looks. So now a bunch of dwarves have bring item to depot jobs, which will cause them to haul objects out to the trade depot. We should, if we also mark the trade depot. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. Trader requested at depot, then is set to only broker may trade, yes, then our broker will come to the depot as well. You can see the dwarves here hauling stuff up to the trade depot. Looks like all of the traders are inside. Nothing is surprisingly undead yet. Right, that worries me. Someone's being interrupted by a troglodyte. That means there's a troglodyte where a troglodyte oughtn't to be. First troglodyte is there, which is fine. Second troglodyte is there, which is less fine. Third troglodyte is there, which is also not fine. Though somewhat injured. Because obviously you don't go after a sodding woodcutter, or even worse, a miner. Okay, I'm not actually worried about that troglodyte. Because that troglodyte is in fact dead. So I am slightly worried about that troglodyte. Troglodyte, dump the corpse of the troglodyte, please. That troglodyte... this is an advantage of having made most of my initial batch of dwarves miners, is that they have a habit of carrying weapons around with them, even though they're not actually designated as, like, fighters. And as long as they're reasonably alert, they will just kill things that get in the way. So where are my two monster slayers then? They now both down in the yes, they're both in the down in the caverns hunting for the one remaining cavern troglodyte. And meanwhile there are three, well, there were three, now two troglodytes kicking around in the fortress itself. So there's one there who is badly injured in the upper body, and there's one and there's one there who is as yet unhurt. So I think for now I'm going to allow things to happen. I think that troglodyte may be hunting a pig. Oh, of course, we've got the convenient thing of having a... Right, well, that's going to have dealt with that one. We have the convenient thing of having a fortress with all the caravan guards kicking around. One of whom is a particularly decent Marks dwarf, who, with a couple of silver bolts, has fairly rapidly, I presume, killed a troglodyte, because a major artery in the heart has been opened is not usually non-fatal. Or was that the one that we have already disposed of the corpse of? Maybe that is... Yes, I think that's the one we've disposed of. We are in the process of disposing of the corpse of. Why is there a spare pair of trousers there? Maybe that was stolen by the troglodyte. Right, so yes, that one was... So we have one in the bed around the bedrooms. And we actually have 2 troglodytes in that same staircase, along with a miner. Right, someone else has found the Mark's dwarf. You foolish troglodytes, stop going up to the level. Yes, so neck is oozing blood, head is oozing blood. Probably not going to last much longer because there's someone there who's really, really good with the crossbow. Right, well, we have a separate head. What? Did you just manage to shoot that troglodyte's head off? No, okay, maybe not. No, okay, Axe Dwarf hacks in arm with head. Maze Dwarf bashes in lower body. Axe Dwarf hacks in lower arm. Blah, blah, blah. Axe Dwarf hacks in head and removes head. So, yes, we have the conveniently visiting caravan guards are doing a very good job of dealing with our slight troglodyte problem.
I am finding this quite confusing because your dwarves are also basically troglodytes.
Yes, but troglodytes are a kind of specific species in the game.
I inferred that because otherwise it makes no sense. But, so, it makes no sense.
So, what's the... Okay, and you've opened an artery in the head of the 3rd troglodyte. So, like, we still have that one down in the... ooh, coming out of the caverns. Brave. Yeah, that's not going to serve you well. I can assure you, if you come up into the fortress, you're just likely to meet either someone with an axe... or the caravan guards, or this visiting hammer dwarf. Mostly I want someone to actually consider it their job to dispose of these spare troglodyte body parts before they come back to life. Have I done something stupid? I don't think I have. Right, that garbage dump is active, yes. Oh dear, the troglodyte's hand has come back to life. Look, why is no one dumping for the items that want dumping? I mean, really. I think the troglodyte's right hand didn't last very long because someone near it had an axe or pick or something. It's horrified as a result of that, and it has a somewhat injured right hand. I'm going to need a hospital, aren't I? Where should we build the hospital then? Somewhere near the well, because water is quite useful. meanwhile, actually go back to disposing of the bits of dead troglodyte, damn you. Yes, I know it's nice to try to get the pigs back where they belong, but that's not actually your priority.
Let's try and get out of here without disturbing Twitchy hoodie cake.
You can see the dwarves dragging all the pigs back up to where they belong after they got scared off. And cleaning things, but not apparently picking up the... Let's check. Standing orders. I don't think we need them to gather it, we need them to dump it. And it's not, those aren't forbidden, are they? No, indeed someone thinks it's their job to deal with it. I think. The 3 dump item jobs are all inactive. Yes, we do have a recover wounded job that would work a lot better if we had a hospital. Oh well, we'll dig one out in due course. Aha! Someone is hauling one of the troglodyte corpses away, dropping it into the pit. What's that lying around down there? Oh right, that's... So, dropping that dead troglodyte down into the rubbish dump has rather smashed up the other items in the rubbish dump, which is probably for the best. Because that makes them less, indeed, I think, actually unable to come to life, because I think they've been killed again by having having a dead troglodyte dropped on their heads. So probably for the best. Right. Just checking that all of the bits of troglodyte are still marked for disposal. Should probably say you can use those trousers if you want. We don't have a use for them anymore. So our current state of live troglodytes then. There are no live troglodytes. I do not want, though, a zombie giant cave spider at any point. That would be bad. I mean, giant cave spiders are bad enough at the best of times. So the giant cave spider is down there. The monster slayers are also down there, but I'm kind of inclined to say what I'm going to do is lock them in until we can connect the caverns to the surface, and then that way when things escape from the caverns they won't end up in the middle of my fortress, they will instead end up on the surface. make digging out the hospital a higher priority than digging out the new bedrooms, because like the occupants of the new bedrooms are dying mostly anyway. Right, meanwhile, about this trade caravan. The trader, our broker is not yet actually at the trade caravan, being apparently busy with other things, probably like throwing away bits of troglodyte. See the trapdoor on through which things get into the rubbish dump is now covered in troglodyte blood. Change this back to that view because that allows you to see more words. And there is a load of stuff in the bottom of the right. So it looks like when you slaughter a camel and you get hair off it, it comes out as hair representing an entire camel that you can then break up by dropping things on it. It looks like that mutilated troglodyte corpse may actually have come back to life, but there's a bunch of rhinoceros corpses wandering the surface. Right. I don't want to let people out onto the surface while it's full of rhinoceroses. So, where did I leave that lever? Let us ask someone to please operate the lever. Right. If you want, but we might not actually let you into the caverns for a while. Right, let's put some doors. No. There. Since there's a space for it. And that's going to be a... So what does this door look like, I wonder? View item, description. Superior quality limestone door encircled with bands of tapered baguette cut white jades. That's nice. Let's install that there. So our hopes of finding metal ores have still not come to much. So let us designate that area as a hospital. Don't have any spare beds. I need to buy some wood. Right, my broker is actually on the way to the trade depot, allegedly. Well, the human maceman has been killed, apparently. Or at least... wearing a helmet, good protection against giant cave spiders. But this doesn't really help if the giant cave spider just grabs your entire head and gives you a good shake. Yeah, I need to make some more memorial slabs. Where's our... Mason's workshop. There, yes. At which point, of course, the human maceman comes back to life, and the giant cave spider now has a rather harder job of dealing with killing it, because the undead are slightly harder to dispose of merely by shredding their spines. But yes, we don't want we don't want anyone else going down there to meet the giant cave spider. It will not end well. Well, we've at least got someone in the hospital, even if they don't have a bed yet, because we don't have any wood. Have we managed to get someone into the trade depot yet? Yes, right, it's trading time. So, this is the trading interface. On the left we have the stuff that the nice people have brought with them. On the right we have the stuff that we have to trade to them. By far our most valuable things are a particularly good mug. Finely crafted limestone mug. On the item is an image of a dwarf in white jade by Genghis Hoslan, which is worth about 100 units, and a pot, which is not actually an interesting pot. What's interesting in it is that it's chock full of plump helmets, which we are able to grow far faster than we can eat them. So let's see what we would want from these nice visitors. Blocks are not very useful. Wood, we'll have all your wood, please. Ah yes, the musical instrument system. Dwarf Fortress has a system of musical instruments. The Air is a mid-size handheld ceramic musical instrument which houses 31 metal strings. The musician uses a ceramic keyboard to select which of these strings are struck. The instrument has a 5-octave range going from mid-low to extremely high pitch. Quite how you have different registers. I suppose it could have different numbers of strings or different kinds of strings, which means it's raucous timbre and it's strong strident timbre. So yes, we can buy musical instruments. We might be able to find someone who can play them if we're really lucky. Maybe we'd prefer an N-ear. You can't really afford an N-ear. With a giant raven bone keyboard and a bismuth bronze case and copper strings. Fairly similar to the Air, actually. Strings with a keyboard to operate the strings, it's kind of like a handheld harpsichord. A handheld piano, they're struck rather than plucked. Or an ockbod. Like an ockbod. Large stationary percussion instrument consists of 3 bone triangles attached to a ceramic stand. Despite only being made out of 3 triangles, it still has a 2-octave range. I suppose that just... Does that mean it has 3 triangles at octave intervals? Or maybe a vudzar? Large stationary percussion instrument consisting of an hourglass wooden drum. You apparently scrape it with a mallet. if you insist.
Strength with a mallet.
Yes.
What?
I don't know. I'm not a Vudthar player. Or a phenomenally expensive Iron Debesh. A 59 stringed bowed string instrument. That must be weird. Anyway, I'm not going to try buying any musical instruments. Oh, we have some cages. Yeah, I don't really want to buy a phenomenally over-decorated lead cage. It might be worth buying a couple of cheap cages for building cage traps out of. Or for putting in cage traps, strictly. I don't think we need any animals other than cats. We've got enough pigs anyway. Do we want a barrel of mongoose blood? Probably not.
How many keys do you have?
It doesn't have keys. It's a barrel of mongoose blood.
Is it a good instrument?
No, it's just a barrel of mongoose blood.
Hit it with a plectrum, wasn't it?
We could probably do with a bucket, though. Like, we can make buckets. Can't really afford that rather nice steel pick. Let's actually schedule all of the stuff I've brought with me for trading so I can see whether I've... Shift enter, mark all goods for trade. 646, right, so we can't really afford much more than what we've already asked for. At present. So while there may be other items that are worth having, oh no, sorry, we've only asked for 120. I was confusing the profit and value columns. No, but you can still afford to buy quite a lot more stuff. Stoats. I mean, we probably can't be we need to leave them getting a reasonably decent profit out of this, or they won't like us. But like, we can probably afford to buy a couple of hundred more value.
There is a stick. I should give consciousness that it.
So that's a fairly cheap bronze crossbow. Add that to the collection. Silver spear looks a bit pricey. Copper spear is quite cheap though. We can get some cheapish weaponry. We can then get good at using it. Maybe. Already got axes, though again it's quite cheap. Okay, we'll take a copper battle axe as well. You could actually do with some fabric to like wrap people's wounds in and such like. Have you got any plant fabric? No. Okay, well, we'll take some cheap alpaca wool cloth then. Oops. Because we have we have an injury we actually want to deal with now. I don't suppose you have soap, because I don't have any soap production at the moment. Doesn't look like it, no. So that will give the traders quite a lot of profit, but they'll probably like that. Yes. So the traders have now acquired the stuff that I gave them, which we can now see in their catalogue. and we have acquired the stuff that they gave to us. We could do... Right, so that means we've now acquired some wood, which means that the dwarves will now start, I hope, if everyone weren't busy, moving some of that wood down to where the where we can turn it into beds. The undead maceman versus the giant cave spider is continuing. There are webs everywhere. Giant cave spider, despite being a giant cave spider, is exhausted now. Uninjured, but exhausted. The dead maceman is being vigorously beaten up. And will probably not last much longer. I think eventually the GCS is going to manage to cause a sufficiently severe injury to stop it being able to move. I want to see what we're doing with... presumably got a quantity of slabs available now. Yes. So if we set this... No. I mean, I don't know if we need to engrave memorial slabs to the troglodytes, to a named troglodyte, but let's do it anyway. Right, so you can see now dwarf there hauling that slab out from the mason's workshop over to the crafts dwarf's workshop in order to engrave it suitably. Or no, actually that slab's being borrowed in order to decorate it with gems. Okay, if you want. Right, and the dwarves are hauling the wood down from the trade depot to wherever it is that I've got my thing for building beds. Right, let us make some beds. This is make as in hammer together out of bits of wood. Meanwhile, if we have a stock of doors, let us continue putting doors in the things that will eventually become bedrooms, I suppose. If I leave the doors out, they're likely to get decorated, which will make them more valuable. So, until we're actually short of bedrooms, technically we are. Oh no, we've got one unowned bedroom, so I think it's reasonable not to try to make more bedrooms now if we can get furniture decorated a bit more before we install it. And we've actually got one room there that has all of its doors anyway. So, yes. The first bed is going to go into the hospital anyway, though it looks like whoever was in the hospital is now feeling better. Are we still full of rhinos? Yes, let's not let anyone out of the fortress yet then. And yes, we have a couple of corpses in the depths of our rubbish dump, but that's fine. They're not going anywhere. Right. That probably means we can add another job, because while no one in the fortress knows what happened to that person. Right, hello, welcome to my world. My dear visiting spearman, where are you? Spear dwarf. Right on the right hand edge of the map. Quite a long way from the rhinos, but I'm not letting anyone into the fortress because they might turn out to be a rhino. So until the rhinos have cleared off, you're staying on the surface. I'm afraid. That's fine. Someone will presumably be along to cut some white jade in a moment anyway, yes. I've struck green tourmaline apparently. Well, I mean, we're finding lots of gems. It looks like metal is going to be a little harder to come by. Okay, we have a slight problem that all of our slabs are currently over here being, well, there's one. It's unengraved, I think, and decorated. And that presumably thus doesn't have a task attached to it. Well, let's see if that manages to get picked up by the next task then. Could release our broker if we don't think we have anything else to trade at the moment, and let them do any other things they want to do. Even if that turns out to be mostly planting seeds. We have some beds, let's stick. Some beds into the will you now? Well, I mean, I have two choices with regards to these merchants. I can let them out or I can not. Actually, what I can do is I can lock the door on this side of them, pull the lever to let them out, and then essentially let them take their chances with the rhinos, and if the surface ends up with a phenomenal quantity of stuff left behind by the merchants. Actually, no, there is a slight problem with this. Where's their Where are their people? Okay, now I suspect... I would quite like to be able to prove that all of the merchants have made it back to the trade depot, but I think they have. It'll be a while before they actually depart anyway. Right, so... looks like all of the... Yes, all of the engraved memorial jobs have failed. Oh, hang on, do I need to... I don't think I do. That's not set to give to the workshop, and the workshop is not set to take from anywhere. Well, let's just try re-adding those tasks and seeing if they do any better. Because, like, there are a bunch of slabs, they're not forbidden, they're all up here. Unless there's some weird thing like slabs once decorated can't be engraved. Okay, maybe slabs once decorated can't be engraved. That would be kind of unfortunate. Let's pay closer attention to what happens about these slabs then. Right, so the slab is now being made. So we'll watch until that slab is complete. Let's check that no one is surprisingly getting in a fight. Right, so now there are lots of slabs in there. It's not like there's even a pile of decorated slabs that we can't do anything with. Why am I having problems engraving memorial slabs then? Meanwhile, let's watch the merchants. Are they actually able to leave? They're currently... all the flickering in there, I think, is them packing up all of their stuff onto their wagons again. Another thing we want in a hospital while we're here is a coffer for sticking useful hospital materials in. Right, and off the merchants depart. They're going at a fair pace. They're not all in the same direction. So, oh, and they seem to have managed to get out at a time when there is actually no, when all the undead rhinos have cleared off. Well, that's good for them. Let's unlock that door so that our miners can get out and dig that staircase down into the caverns. Looks like someone else has got involved in that fight down there. I mean, I say that. Yes, there's an axe dwarf there. But he doesn't appear anywhere in the... Oh, unless he's all the way down there. Yeah, nothing's happened there recently. I think he may just be stuck in the spider's web and not able to do anything. Yeah, it's perfectly safe. That layer is wet, but not very wet. Ooh, I'm running out of limestone blocks. I should make some more. Of course, now I don't actually have to carefully find the thing. I can just say the mason's workshop. I can say, look, just do a couple of jobs of making limestone blocks, and someone will sort it out. For GCS. So the situation with slabs I'm kind of confused by. There are like plenty of them here. Look, here's a limestone slab, an exceptional limestone slab. It does not have any engravings on it. So why, oh why, can you not, when I ask for it to be engraved, and then we have a job for it there. Let's wait and see. There's only one person who's actually any good at engraving. So now our hospital has Oh yes, that's the water. Right. Now it has a big list of things it could probably do with. Thread, cloth, splints, crutches, powder for casts, buckets and soap. And I bought some of those from the caravan. So someone will probably consider it their job to shift them down into the yes, our poor visiting ex-dwarf is yeah. Oh, successfully killed the human, the zombie human who had been got by the giant cave spider, but is sadly now stuck in a web. May be able to get out. I can't remember how hard it is to escape from webs. But like, if they don't get out fairly soon, things are going to come back to life. Excellent, they've managed to escape. No, actually, that was not what I meant. I can install 3 walls. Let us install 3 walls there. Limestone blocks. And then fill in the others in a moment. Make some more beds. What did this? What splints? I haven't got any splints, have I? You could do with 5 splints and 5 crutches. I wonder if we've got the wood for that. Probably not, but we can have a couple. There we go. What is a giant olm then? Oh, it's an underground thing. Giant amphibian predator found underground near water. I'm going to need to start putting markers around to remember where things are. You can see that the cleaning dwarves have gradually cleaned up all of that troglodyte blood. And dwarves are now moving things into the hospital so that when the next person gets seriously injured, they will actually be able to be like treated. So we could actually... Oh, migrants. Maybe I should save soon because it is like midnight. What I was thinking was, given those that we now have some extra kinds of... We have red tourmalines and fire opals up there. So I could add cut precious fire opal and cut red tourmaline as things at least, and then indeed start encrusting furniture with those as well. I mean, these are going to be some fairly random jobs because no, not with Slade, that's not going to help at all. Because the job scheduler is just going to repeatedly try to do each job until something good comes of it, which may not actually work. I kind of notice, there's still a giant olm down there. Now, elk birds aren't very scary. We've only got elk birds down there. Maybe we can actually get some of the dead out of there, except we don't have any coffins at the moment. Well, let's schedule the making of some coffins, because if we can get some people out, get the dead out of the caverns, that would be helpful. Though I don't actually know if you put a dead body in a coffin, whether it can still come to life. Yeah, go on. I don't know if you actually are allowed like bedrooms or anything. Gods, we've got a load of new arrivals. That's what I get for turning... Oh, we've got someone who's even thinks they're a doctor. And a child. Right, well... I think lots of stuff is happening, but... Oh, actually, yes. Before I forget... Let's finish walling that off. Right. And let's schedule the new bedrooms for smoothing, though the smoothing jobs are clearly running quite a bit behind at the moment, but that's fine. The person whose job it is to do them will eventually get good at it. Right, yes, so I think I should save now and leave my fortress alone for a bit. Snooze. Who is there around at the moment? So, yes, currently the situation is all reasonably pleasant. Save. So yes, we didn't manage to find any metal ore, but we've managed to do a lot of entertaining things. And now I will read back through everything that has happened. Snooze. Right, yes. Okay, that's finished. I've finished reading things. So, good night all, and I will see some of you tomorrow.